Alright guys, so hopefully the other video that we did not have you too confused. Alright, we're going to take that same concept that we talked about yesterday or the other day with factoring, and we're going to add to it. When we were talking about factoring before, we were looking at ax squared plus bx plus c, where a equaled 1. And that's how we were factoring prior. Now we're going to change it up. What happens if a can be any number now? We're no longer going to restrict it to just being 1. Okay? It adds some excitement to doing the math problems, I'll tell you that much. Let's look at an example. Now, mind you guys, this area should be in the study guide that Mrs. Evans is handing out to you. Okay? So all these examples are there for you to look over. So on this one here, once again, we start off with the same thing. We have our parentheses, because we're going to have two products that we're multiplying back together. We look to that last number. We have a plus. That means our signs are going to be the same. So that means this is our signs. So we got n squared. We can put n's in here just like we were doing before with the other ones. But now, we've got two numbers that we got to look at. We need to look at the A, and we need to look at the C. So what's my factors of 5? I've got 1 and 5, right? My factors of 7 are just 1 and 7. Unfortunately, guys, here comes the part of guessing and checking. I need to pick numbers and put them in so that when I do my FOIL, I end up with -12. For an example, if I was to say, put in 5n minus 1 and 7n minus 1, okay? If I was to put them in like this, obviously you see right away, -1 does not give me +7. So let's switch these two around. What if I just had n minus 7? Well, what's 5 times -7? That's -35. And then I have -1 times n, so that's -n. That gives me -36n. Nowhere even close to what I need of -12. So this is not going to work. We have to think about this in terms of what numbers should I put together to get me to this middle number. That -12 is my goal. Okay? So obviously we know that 1 and 7 is going to go in the back somewhere. So let's put 1 and 7 in. Okay. The question is, do I put the 1 here and the 5 here, or do I do it vice versa? Well, when I put the 5 here, 5 times 7 gave me 35, way too high. So let's turn it around. I'll put the 1 there and the 5 here. Now let's FOIL it and check. 1 times -7 gives me -7n. -1 times 5n gives me -5n. I combine those like terms, I get -12n. So now, I've got that middle number. This is the factoring. Yes, I know this is a lot of work. Yes, I know this is guessing and checking. And yes, I can almost hear you complaining from home. Okay? Sorry guys, there are other ways that we will talk about when I get back, but until I do, this guessing and checking method is your options. As you do it more, you're going to get better at it. So, like, you'll be able to see almost right away that, you know, the 5 and the 7 had to go in the same group. Otherwise, you got too big of a number. You're going to catch up on little things like that. But until I get back, this is the only way you got to do it. So you're going to have to do the guess and check method. On this example, okay, we've got a little bit bigger numbers to deal with. We have Let me get out my. We have two factors going. We have a negative in the back, so that means that our signs are going to change. So 1 plus, 1 minus. We're still looking at the A, and we're looking at the C. So my factors of 3 are 1 and 3. My factors of 21, or negative 22, is negative 1, 22, 1, negative 22, 2, negative 11, negative 2, positive 11, and I do believe that's it. So now, put in our m's, because m times m is m squared. We need to figure out what order we're going to put these in so that we end up with a negative 5 here in the middle. Now, trick of the trade. When these are your only two options, okay, put them in 3 and 1. That way they're out of the way. So now we have to figure out, are we going to put these where? To get to negative 5, and I'm looking at this, I'm thinking this might be a little easier to get to negative 5 because 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 plus 5 gives me 11. So I'm going to start off with these here. Okay, those are the trick of the trades I was talking about. After you do this for a while, you'll be able to see that. So now the question is, where do they go? Now, we still have 2 and negative 11. If I put the 2 here, and I put the 11 here, will it work? 3 times 2 is 6m. Negative 11 times 1 is negative 11m. Gives you negative 5. So therefore, I would know that this is my answer. Now, will you guess that right on the first time? No. You're going to have to sit there and keep working at it. But you must check with FOIL. If you don't check with FOIL, you have no idea if you're doing it right or not. Otherwise, you're just throwing in numbers and you don't know. You have to check with FOIL. Just like I did here. Now, this is on that study guide book. This is 1, 2, and 3. I want you guys, I'm going to pause the video now and I want you to take a chance and try these on your own.